The first like really big artist I played for, I was 16 years old, and I got hired by Patti LaBelle. She had a group called LaBelle, and in the 70s they had a huge hit called Lady Marmalade. And it's an interesting story because I would say that was like the second tour I ever did. The first tour I ever did was with a guy named Jay Mason, who was recording for Buddha Records in the mid-70s. And a guitar player friend of mine named Eddie Martinez and I, Eddie is a fantastic musician, we were looking through a Village Voice one day, and we noticed an ad in the Village Voice that said, recording and touring act looking for drummer and guitarist. So we called the number, and they told us report to Carroll Music Studio on West 40th Street at 2 p.m. They still didn't tell us who the artist was. And like I said, LaBelle was pretty hot at this moment. So we walk in the studio and I see Nona Hendrix and Sarah Dash, which is like 2/3 of LaBelle. And I said to Eddie, I think this is LaBelle. And we were like, really? Wow. And a few minutes later, Patti LaBelle walks in. And I was like, this is pretty cool. This is pretty awesome. So we started playing for them. And they basically hired us on the spot. They loved us. And, but Patti LaBelle found out I was only 16 years old. So she goes, I have a son your age and I'm not taking you out of school, blah, 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 blah. I was like, oh man, she was pulling the whole mom routine on me. But she was very cool. She said, but listen, we love you. I have an idea. Actually, our drummer has some other gigs that he had booked like 6 months ago on the weekends, but he can do the weekday gigs. So why don't you play the weekend gigs and then he'll do the weekday gigs? So I was thrilled. So I ended up playing like Friday nights, Saturdays, and Sunday gigs with LaBelle. You know, show up Monday morning sleepy-eyed at school. And the other drummer would do the stuff during the week. So I did a few months of that, and it was an incredible experience for me. And I ran into Patti LaBelle many, many years later after I had worked for people like Weather Report and Sting and Madonna and David Bowie. And I was playing a gig somewhere, probably at Radio City Music Hall, and Patti was walking around backstage going, I hired him on his first tour. She was totally bragging. It was so cool.